Hi, Henry. How are you?
Hey Josh, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thank you. And it's such a pleasure to be able to speak to you today. I'm a long time fan of your work, like a lot of people. And I love how now you're starting to become a familiar face in these Stephen King adaptations. But when this prequel came your way and the role of Dan, what was it about them that really caught your interest?
Honestly, I thought it was interesting uh, to work with Samantha Mathis and Lindsay Beer and I thought, well, you know, uh, what's a couple of months in Montreal sounds good to me. Uh, but the story was kind of it's always kind of confusing to me because the horror genre in particular tends to throw all reason out the window anyway in the third act. So mainly when I look at horror scripts, I look at the characters. And for me, Dan was kind of an interesting character because he was keeping this secret all his life and trying to protect his kids, but he just sort of came off as this weird old curmudgeon, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And, I really enjoyed watching you and Jackson White together on screen, obviously as father and son. So was it quite easy for you guys to tap into that dynamic of father and son, given what they're going through?
It was great. Well, Jackson's uh, great anyway. He was a lot of fun to work with, and he's very much a young man, and he has a young man's energy. He's always doing like push-ups and exercises between takes, uh, and I kind of felt like I guess like Sir Laurence Olivier on the Marathon Man. Like, yeah, take it easy, just relax. But uh, but no, it was pretty easy, and he's a great guy, easy to get along with, and he was taking everything very seriously, uh, as young people do. So it was kind of an inspiring to see.
Yeah, and it must have been really interesting for you as well to almost explore that idea of the sins of the father being passed down to the son, given that Dan probably went through the same kind of thing with his father, as this is a family burden that's gone down through the generations. So sinking your teeth into, even if it was subtext, that must have been a really interesting thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, within all of uh, these strange supernatural happenings, there's a core of humanity in there that as an actor, that's kind of what you latch onto because that's the most familiar and most relatable for everyone.
Yeah, and the same obviously with the Vietnam War serving as a backdrop for the story, and obviously the lengths we see Dan goes to keep his son safe. Was obviously having children yourself, was that something quite easy for you to relate to and understand why he would do what he would do?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think when it comes to uh, speaking of youth and vigor, when it comes to maturity and age, you start seeing all of these, government institutions and constructs kind of is a little bit of a red flag, so I think any parent wants to protect their children, and I mean, although draft dodging is somewhat unethical. It was practiced a lot um, in in the U.S. like during the Vietnam War. So uh, yeah, I mean, I think whatever your political leanings, I mean, when it comes to your children, of course you want to protect them.
Yeah, for sure. And across the course of these Stephen King movies, you've obviously played Jack Torrance in Doctor Sleep, which I thought was amazing, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Jesse's father in Gerald's Game. So now you're Judd's dad in this movie. So despite them all being father roles, I'm guessing they've all presented you with really unique challenges along the way and very different challenges as well.
Yeah, they're all interesting characters. Some less despicable than others, but uh, in terms of their proclivities. But but they're all interesting, and the interesting thing about playing all of them has been, sort of trying to bring the despicable aspects to light in a way that's you know watchable and enjoyable, at least entertaining, perhaps. I hope. And every character presents its challenge. For me, the challenge of playing some of these characters has been being able to take it off and leave it behind, and kind of shiver and shake it off.
Yeah, for sure. And I read a great interview with you recently where you talked about geeking out over Mark Hamill on the set of The Fall of House of Usher. And you like you said, you're working with quite a young cast here. So did you find yourself experiencing something similar, given obviously what a great career you've had, and a lot of people will have grown up watching it, something like E.T. So did you find almost going through the same thing this time?
Well, always a little bit. There's a little bit of nostalgia associated with ET, and I guess I'm an old timer now, on set. Like, I used to be the youngest person on set. Now I'm the like I'm most often like in the upper echelon of age, But but it's interesting because I remember when I was a kid and I worked with Gene Hackman, and I never saw Gene Hackman as a person. I always saw him as this great actor, and like I never thought of him having breakfast or, you know, whatever. So I just kind of laugh at it now if anybody looks at me like a living legend or something, because you know I have to take the trash out like everyone else.
Oh, that's awesome. And talking of House of Usher, great series. I know you guys couldn't talk about it when it came out because of the strikes, but that pendulum scene with your character, that must have been a crazy thing for you to sit down and watch when the show hit Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt guilty because Carla had to do all the heavy lifting in that scene. I was just paralyzed, so I had to safe out. Um, but I did have to wear that horrible prosthetic suit. There was like it sort of looked like a cyclist uniform gone wrong, The whole midsection was hanging out. But it wasn't very flattering, but that was the challenge for me in that scene. But I think the show was fantastic. I really went out on a limb with the character because a lot of that wasn't on the page. So I was kind of, crossing my fingers that the character would come across, as nuanced, and I think it did. So I was really pleased with it.
Oh, absolutely. It was phenomenal performance in a great series. And, I don't, yeah, I loved it. And like, I really enjoyed this film as well. And I don't want to drop any spoilers, but, like in House of Usher, you're involved in a few gory scenes in this movie. So how
Yeah.
much fun is it on set when those days on set where you're going to be getting knee deep in that kind of stuff?
Honestly, like I turn into the biggest like petulant child because I don't like having the fake blood on my skin,
Hmm.
because it's like I don't know, it just reminds me of like, accidentally getting syrup on you because it's quite
Yeah.
sticky, so it's like you walk around feeling like you have something stuck to your skin all day. So I usually get grumpy on those days.
I totally understand. And while I've got you, I know you had a taste of a superhero world with Stargirl. Are you interested? The show unfortunately has ended now, but are you interested in maybe taking another shot at a Marvel or DC role down the line somewhere, do you think?
Well, I've just come off strike. I need a job. I'm not going to say no, but I do I do have to admit, I'm not really and I never have been crazy about the superhero genre, although I do appreciate it, and I liked comic books when I was a kid a bit, but I never really got into it. And I feel like it's become, the Western for our age. It's like kind of like this overplayed genre. And I know it's gotten a lot of flack as being like not real cinema and all of this, which, are arguably so, but it is entertainment, and people have responded to those things. And, that's what we're meant to be doing anyway. But at the same time, it's like I would like to see something new. Like I would like to, see a revival of historical genre films, or um, maybe mainstream fantasy, as films. It would be cool.
Yeah,
There's
for sure. Well,
there's a lot of stories that could be told that haven't been told yet.
yeah, I completely agree. Well, for now, I'm loving seeing what you're doing in this horror realm. I had a great time with this movie, and Henry, I'm a big, big fan. So thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thanks for talking to me, and thanks for being a fan, and have a great one.
You too. Cheers. Have a
Okay.
good one, Henry. Thanks.